Alright, so a lot of people have been asking and wondering why I'm going to New York City for the Occupy Wall Street protests. And there's been a lot of people who say that I'm crazy, or it won't help. I won't do anything. Just being, me alone doesn't mean anything. Me going down there and standing around doesn't mean anything. So, I'd like to take a little bit of time to, get the record straight about why I'm going and why I think it's important. Because maybe if I tell my reasons why, maybe it won't seem so out there, just like. And then I'm not trying to make you believe it and then go there, but I'm just trying to make you understand, because that's the most important thing you could ever do in life, is understand why people do things. So anyways, my mom, she's sick. She has Huntington's, and only a few close friends and family know. And I guess anybody who watches this will know now. And there's no cure for the disease. It's just, she's gonna keep getting worse and worse until finally, she dies. And I've heard stories that people with Huntington's, forget their own children's names. I don't know, but she, she's definitely not getting better. And and whenever someone who does know, whenever they would ask me, how's your mom doing, I would just say she's good. She's doing good. It's just, I don't know, sometimes it's easier than living the lie. Just ignoring the question. Not so much pretending that everything's going to be okay, but, not putting a burden on other people. And, I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know if my brother's going to get it, or his son. I don't know, I can't really think about that, There's no value in thinking about it, because there's nothing I can do about it anyways. I mean, if I could, I would just prefer it to be, to I have it, and not my brother or his kid. But, like I said, I have no power over that. And I see this connection between my mom and America. And America, the idea of America is free choice. There's nothing more important in the world than free choice, the ability to choose for yourself what you're going to do with your next breath, with your next, second. And, the idea of America was to have all the different kinds of people in the world all free. There's never been a word like liberty that so many people have bled for. It means something. You know, people fight for it every day, every single day. People die for it. And America is declining. The government keeps taking more and more control, and corporations are becoming the government, basically. And America is slowly dying. Right in front of our eyes. And I can't go on just watching it happen and doing nothing about it. You know, I have to do that with my mom. I have to sit here and watch her die. You know? But I guess, you know, everyone goes through that. You know? But, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't save my mom. But I can do something about this, you know? I can try. And goddamn it, you know, if I can try, then I'm gonna fucking try, you know? I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna just ignore it. I'm not gonna, you know, for too long I've ignored it. I've just said, you know, that's just the way it is. That's just what the world is. But it's not, you know. I'm sick of living in those limitations of that I can't change it. Because I can change it. And there's thousands of people down in New York City right now that think the same way I do. I gotta do something with my life that's extraordinary. You know, 'cause my dad is the most respectable man in the entire world. He could have chose any life at all, and he chose us. Chose my mom. Chose the Huntingtons. Chose all the fights and drunken fights. And I've never seen him, you know, when my brother's kid was born, he was so proud, you know. And I knew that there was nothing that I could do to make him as proud as what he was right then when he was holding my brother's baby. So, you know, if I can't, you know, match that or, you know, get close to it, you know, I'm just gonna do what I can, you know, and make him proud in other ways, in a different way. And I wanna go down to New York City, and I wanna try my best, and I would die for it. I would die for the idea of America, and I would die for my mother. I would die for my family, you know, in a second. Wouldn't even be a hesitation. I used to be a really bad kid, and I still am. I used to not want to work. I used to not want to do anything. I had dreams, but I never wanted to work for them. And now, you know, I got this job at McDonald's. And I used to hate McDonald's, but it's an amazing place, and it's really turned my life around. You know, it's made me want to help people. It's made me want to be a good person. For some reason, I don't know why. You know, I want to start being good. I want to start being, you know, an adult. What the world sees as an adult is. But my life does not have the value of America, the idea of America, free choice, freedom, liberty. And I will give it all up. I will give up possibly turning my life around to go down there and give it my best shot. So, I don't know if anybody will watch this, I can't really make you watch it, but, if you're ever, wondering why someone's going there, or why I'm going there, at least you'll know now. And if you're watching this, and by some chance, you're in doubt about going or not, you should just go, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There will never be a moment like this. This is our last chance, because if this doesn't work out, if Occupy Wall Street does not work out, then that sets a precedent for the rest of your life, for hundreds of years, that people will believe that the protesters are crazies and just hobos that didn't have a job, or druggies, and they did this stupid protest and it didn't work out, and then people will believe that they can't change their government, they can't change their country, they can't change their lives. People will believe that for hundreds of years. And I don't want to let that happen. And I will not let that happen as long as I'm alive. Like I said before, I would die for it. But I don't know, that's it, I guess. Can't really think of anything else to say. But, yeah.